Was Kahane really right? Does the Torah really tell us, end quote, they must go, end quote? By Na'amah Devine. Rabbi Meir Kahane's slogan, end quote, they must go, end quote, as detailed in his 1981 book of the same name, advocated for the voluntary or forced transfer/expulsion of Palestinian Arabs, Muslims, from Israel, viewing them as a demographic and security threat that prevents a truly Jewish state. This has been by far the most controversial of any of the rabbi's positions or public statements. Most people, when disparaging him, make reference to this slogan as their primary reason for hating him. He harmonized this with Torah by interpreting verses like Exodus 23 verse 33 and Deuteronomy 7 verse 2 as mandating removal of non-Jews who refuse ger teshav status, accepting Noahide laws under Jewish rule, or who promote idolatry/hostility, arguing modern Arabs don't qualify and must leave to fulfill mitzvah of settling the land without foreign influence. This aligns with Torah prohibitions on non-Hebrews ruling, Deuteronomy 17 verse 15, but extends beyond mainstream views by rejecting coexistence even for peaceful residents, prioritizing national survival over qualitative allowances like ger teshav. No percentage cap is specified in his writings, mirroring Torah's qualitative focus as dissected below. The Torah, as interpreted in classical halakhic sources, primarily from the Rambam/Maimonides and other authorities, presents a nuanced view on non-Jews, Gentiles, residing in Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, and holding positions of authority, including in government. There is no single, uniform opinion, but key principles derive from biblical verses and rabbinic codifications. Residents of non-Jews in the land of Israel. The Torah generally prohibits allowing idol worshippers or certain non-Jews to settle permanently in the land, based on verses such as Exodus 23:33, end quote, they shall not dwell in your land, lest they cause you to sin against me, end quote. Deuteronomy 7:2, interpreted in some sources as prohibiting giving non-Jews a foothold, lo tekanim. This stems from concerns about idolatry influencing Jews. However, the Torah and Halacha allow a specific category called ger teshav, resident alien or righteous Gentile, to reside in the land. According to the Rambam, *** Mishnah Torah, Hilchot Ishuriai Baya 14:7-8***, and Hilchot Avodah Zarah. A ger teshav is a non-Jew who accepts the 7 Noahide laws, universal moral laws for all humanity, and commits not to worship idols. Such a person is permitted to live among Jews in Eretz Yisrael. This status is ideally accepted in the presence of a Beit Din, Jewish court, and historically tied to times when the Jubilee year is observed, which is not the case today according to most authorities, including Rambam. There are differing opinions. Some Rishonim, medieval authorities, hold that only during Jubilee cycles can formal ger teshav status be granted. Others, e.g. certain interpretations of Kesef Mishnah, are more lenient, allowing observant Noahides to reside even today. In practice, many more modern halakhic discussions, especially regarding non-Jews who may not exactly be idolaters, such as Muslims or ethical monotheists, permit residence under principles like Darkei Shalom, promoting peace, or Hillel Hashem avoidance, preventing desecration of the Lord's name. No specific numerical cap or percentage on non-Jewish residents/immigrants appears in the Torah, Talmud, or major codes like Rambam or Shulchan Aruch. The focus is qualitative, acceptance of Noahide laws, avoidance of idolatry, rather than quantitative. Discussions of modern demographics, e.g., 25% non-Jews in Israel, address practical status but do not derive a fixed percentage limit from scriptural sources. Non-Jews or non-Hebrews, in government or ruling over Jews. The Torah explicitly prohibits appointing a non-Jew, or even a convert in certain cases, to certain high positions of authority over Jews, particularly the monarchy. Deuteronomy 17:15, end quote, you shall surely set a king over you whom the Lord your God chooses. One from among your brethren shall you set as king over you. You may not put a foreigner over you who is not your brother, end quote. This is codified by the Rambam, *** Mishnah Torah, Hilchot Melachim Umilchamot 1:4***. A king must be from among native-born Israelites, Jewish by birth, with at least one parent from Israel according to some readings. This applies not only to the king but extends to any position of authority, Sarah, in Israel, including generals, leaders, or high officials, who exercise power derived from the top authority. A non-Jew may not be appointed to such roles, as they are not, end quote, your brother, end quote. Even a righteous convert, ger tzedek, is disqualified from kingship or high authority unless their mother or father is a native-born Israelite, per Rambam's strict reading. The concern is to prevent foreigners from ruling over Hebrews, ensuring leadership remains within the covenant people to maintain Torah observance and national integrity. The source Torah viewpoint allows limited, conditional residence for righteous non-Jews, ger teshav, but prohibits unrestricted settlement, especially for idolaters. There is no scriptural percentage cap on immigrants or residents. High governmental authority, especially ruling positions, is reserved for native-born Jews, based directly on Deuteronomy 17 verse 15, to avoid non-Hebrews ruling over Hebrews or the Holy Land. These laws are ideal and messianic in scope, with practical applications varying by era, rabbinic opinion, and context, e.g., modern democratic Israel is not a Torah monarchy. In conclusion, while Rabbi Meir Kahane's slogans such as, end quote, they must go, end quote, draw upon genuine Torah sources, including verses like Exodus 23 verse 33 prohibiting non-Jews from dwelling in the land, lest they lead Jews astray, Deuteronomy 7:2's command against granting them a foothold, and the Rambam's codification in Hilchot Avodah Zarah restricting residents to qualified Ger Teshav, resident aliens accepting the Noahide laws under Jewish sovereignty. His application represents a highly stringent interpretation rather than a direct, consensus-based mandate. In halakhic terms, enemies or members of tribes at war with the Jews can be disqualified from Ger Teshav status based on Rambam's codification in Mishnah Torah, Hilchot Melachim Umilchamot 6:1-4, where optional wars against hostile nations require offering peace terms, including subjugation as tributaries and acceptance of the Noahide laws, before siege. If rejected due to ongoing enmity, no covenant is made, and they are treated as combatants rather than potential residents, echoing Deuteronomy 20:10-18's distinction between distant cities, eligible for peace, and the 7 Canaanite nations, ineligible for any covenant due to their inherent threat of leading Jews to idolatry and moral corruption. This disqualification extends from the principle in Hilchot Avodah Zarah 10:6 that a Ger Teshav must genuinely renounce idolatry and accept subservient status before a Beit Din during Jubilee times, not applicable today per Rambam, but hostility precludes such sincere submission, as seen in Talmudic discussions, Avodah Zarah 64b, requiring peaceful intent. Thus, Rabbi Kahane's stringent interpretation, while maximalist, finds justification in these sources by analogizing modern adversaries to biblical enemies like Amalek, Deuteronomy 25 verses 17-19, or Canaanites, whose warlike stance inherently bars them from residency privileges to safeguard Jewish sovereignty and spiritual integrity in the land, prioritizing the mitzvah of Yishuv Haaretz, settling the land, without foreign threats over broader coexistence allowances. TDLR, Torah doesn't limit residency in the land of Israel to Jews. However, it does limit it to Jews and non-aggressive friends and allies of the Jews, so yes, they must go. Hamakavi Barzel is a reader-supported publication. To receive all new posts and support our work, consider becoming a paid subscriber.